Hello! This is Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. It's her latest book, and this is the Book Club Plus of me reading through it. This is such a good idea. I'm going to do this with my book. I'm going to do a global read-along where when it comes out, I'll read a chapter and I'll make some notes on it on video and put it out there and we'll read along together. But for now, we're doing it with Brene's book, and the first bit to read was a note from Brene and also the introduction. So I love in her note, she talks about being nervous when she's going out to speak. And I say this all the time. People go, oh, you're so confident. I'm not confident. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with the fact that it could go wrong because I know that that's okay. And it's gone wrong enough for me to experience tells me that some of the best stuff happens when it's different to how you planned. And but what she does is just remember she's talking to people, and she says people to herself 4 times before she goes on stage. And I love that because for me it is connection. It doesn't matter whether there's the biggest audience I spoke to is 4,000, and it doesn't matter whether it's 4,000 or 4. It's still, do you care enough to connect? You know, and if you do, what does that look like? So there's a little bit in the note that challenged me on page XIX 21. It's too late in life for me to start learning Roman numerals. On that page. It says, she talks about Braving the Wilderness, the book she wrote before this, and it says it's a book about courage, the courage to belong to ourselves as a prerequisite for true belonging, and the danger of spending our lives trying to fit in and hustle for acceptance. I need to read that book because I'm quite like I want acceptance. I mean, I don't hustle for, I don't want it at any cost, you know. It's like I want acceptance for who I am, but I want that. So I wonder what, I'm curious about that because I haven't read that book, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so I made notes. The first thing she talked about is her goals for writing the book, and she talks about an inward and outward goal. And I worked out that for writing my book, or for a project, any project that you're doing, you're going to have an inward goal and an outward goal, and it's really good to try and get some clarity around those. So my inward goal is to thank teachers. That's what it is. I wrote to thank, acknowledge and awaken. So it's to thank teachers. That it's really important to me that I acknowledge what they did in my life, and to awaken that sense of, oh my gosh, we really can do the impossible. We really can make a difference in teachers that are here now. And my outward, and I say that's inward because that's personal to me, because I am dissatisfied by the teachers who feel that their hands are tied and they have no capacity and they have no agency. I'm dissatisfied that as a culture we have created that sort of system with individuals who are reduced to, I don't know, data collectors, or I'm dissatisfied. We're better than that. And my outward goal is to get those teachers or leaders to reflect, to make a shift, and then to take action. And my overriding goal really is to reverse engineer why I'm not dead. That's basically it. Because I would love to, you know, the more I sort of do talks and write, and I look more at research of abuse victims, and I look at my story and I'm like, what? How am I not on drugs? How have I never taken drugs? I mean, I've had enough drugs around me my whole life since I was like 6 to, how have I never smoked? You know, how I want to know. So she talks about the fact that studying leadership is easier than doing it. Amen, sister. But I love this. I define a leader, this is on page 4, we're into numbers now. I define a leader as anyone who takes the responsibility for finding potential in people and processes, and who has the courage to develop that potential. So that means if you're a parent, you're a leader. If you're a partner, you're a leader. If you're a person, you're a leader. If you have a relationship, you're a leader. And what I'm dissatisfied on, we're making a list of things that annoy me, is people who say, oh, I'm not a leader. Because I used to do that, right, literally 2 years ago. I'm like, oh no, I'm not a leader. Because a leader to me was someone who got it together and knew what they were doing. And that's not how I would describe myself. So, but it's not that, is it? I love the title, What Stands in the Way Becomes the Way. And I think, is that from, Marcus Aurelius, or someone he pinched it from? I don't know. But she talks, and I talk a lot about starting from where people are. It's basic marketing, right? If you want to enroll someone, you start from where they are. Every advert, every company who does great marketing knows that. I'm dissatisfied. God, this is just a rant of how many things I'm annoyed with. Also, ironing. I'm dissatisfied with the level of ironing I have. So businesses, schools, churches. I get frustrated with people who start from where they are and not from where the people are. Like breakfast clubs in school. Here's something. I love that there are breakfast clubs in school. I also know that when I was attending school, I couldn't get there on time for breakfast club because I had to take my brothers to school. So I say to schools, hey, what would it look like if you could cater for the latecomers as well? Could there be a takeaway breakfast? Why not take it further? In primary schools, we give the kids breakfast club food. We don't feed their mums. Their mums are giving up food for the kids to eat often, but we don't offer them toast. How about inviting families in and having family breakfast? Here's something else. How about we put the breakfast in a van and drive down the street? How about we don't wait for them to come to us? How about we put an ice cream siren on it and we drive down and ding, 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 and it's toast? How about we knock on people's doors? How about we get each other to take responsibility for someone, making sure they've had breakfast? I mean, it can just get bigger and bigger and bigger. But I think sometimes, we start from where we are and we put something together and we put a lot of work in it, a lot of effort in it, and then we get disappointed when people don't connect with it or engage with it. But it's because we haven't started from where they are. And also I wrote this on page 7, that I put jazz, that means all people, even the ones that annoy you. Because while I'm moaning about businesses and schools and churches not starting with belonging, also I have to, when I'm considering that, or if I'm in a conversation with that, I have to start from where they are. So I can't, there's no point, and that's why I base my health. There's no point in me going in and going, right, this is rubbish, this is blah, blah, these are the things you're doing wrong. I'm there. I'm listening. I'm being compassionate to the same level I want to be treated. And it says in here on page unreadable, I can't remember. Page 10, to listen with the same passion that you want to be heard. And that's by Harriet Lerner, Lerner. And I think, that's a challenge, isn't it? Because sometimes we're so right. I've thought about this. I do that with my husband, Ed, because I'm here most of the time for childcare. And then when looking after the kids, being a parent, it's not childcare. And then when he comes in and I go out to work and I come back and things are done differently. And I'm like, but this is why we wash all the uniform on Friday night, because Sunday is a hellstorm otherwise. But it's kind of like starting from where he is. What would I say? What would I think? What would I do? What would I feel if I was able to stand in empathy right now? Also, she talks on page 11 about teach what you... No, I say that. She says self-awareness and self-love matter. Who we are is how we lead. And I've been saying for a long time, you can teach what you know, but you can only recreate what you are. So, and there's been a debate on Twitter recently about somebody put it's who you are as a teacher is more important than what you teach. You've got to teach something useful. But if you're a complete idiot or a mad axe murderer or someone who's... I talk all the time about being a wag-old human, what a good one looks like. It's like, I don't want a bitter, twisted, knackered, emotionally hot mess, broken adult in front of my kids when they turn up to school. They get that at home. I want them to see what a good one looks like. Because everything we do and say is being recorded and modelled and watched, and we're modelling whether we know we are or not, whether we accept we are or not. And I can see the other side at the same time. Obviously, who you are isn't as important as what you teach. But I think what the person was saying and where it was taken from was about a relationship and a comment on engagement. And what I notice, I don't get involved. I'm kind to myself. I don't get involved in petty squabbles on Twitter, or any squabbles actually. But what I notice is that starting from where you are, people want to take all the difficult stuff, all the touchy-feely emotional engagement, unanswered question stuff out of teaching and keep it just very, we turn up, we teach, we go. Which I think is what it was designed for. Which is great if you're, making toothpaste tubes. But because we're dealing with people, we turn up, we teach, we go, doesn't always fit because it's starting from where we are. It's not starting from where they are. So one of the myths, I don't know if it's the same in America, but one of the myths in England, one of the things that teacher training students are taught, don't smile till Christmas. The idea being that don't let your guard down, don't be friends, be hard, bring your bitch face, that's the other one. Be hard until Christmas, and then you've got respect, and then you can relax. And I hear students telling me they've been told that, and what I hear is that's to protect you. That's starting from where you are, because you don't want riots or you don't want the risk of vulnerability, so you come down hard. That's about you. It's starting from where you are. And I had one guy once tell me, I'm not here to love my students. I give my students tough love. And my feeling on that is tough love maybe works, but without a foundation of regular love, tough love just feels like bullying. So whilst I'm trying to be compassionate to people who lock down and stay singularly focused to protect themselves, I get that. But also leadership is service. It's not about you. it's not privilege. Leadership is service. You get paid the extra money to make up for the blood that's drawn from you. Because it is, you have to trust everyone implicitly and earn everyone's trust. You get misunderstood all the time, even though you feel you're sorry. There's nothing glamorous about being a leader. If you're a courageous leader, if you're leading with your heart, it's a great job if you just lock off and do it with your head. This is my... Yeah, okay, so this is something on page 13 she writes about teachers. As I often tell teachers, some of the most important leaders we can't always ask our students to take off their armour at home or even on the way into school, because their emotional and physical safety may require self-protection. But what we can do, and what we're ethically called to do, is to create a space in our schools and classrooms where all students are able to walk in and for that day or for that hour, take off the crushing weight of their armour, hang it on a rack and open their heart to truly being seen. I mean, that's just, that is what the 5 teachers did for me. And with the rest, I had to keep their armour on and at the same time look as though I didn't have any armour on. It's hard. So listen, that's the first bit. Next week, we're going to do part 1, Rumbling with Vulnerability. And part 1, the first section is Courage is Contagious. I've started, as you can see, taking notes and going on. I don't mind if nobody watches these videos. It's just the idea. I said, who's going to read? I put the picture of this up in my group and said, dare to lead, who's with me? And everybody seemed to take it as a call to revolution. I was just asking a question, as often is the mistake. And so said, hey, let's all read it together. And Brene's actually reading this. She's doing a global read, which I'm going to do with my book because it's such a great idea. There's videos. You can sign up on her website, daringtolead.com. But I just thought I'm going to read it. And if no one ever watches these videos or reads it, it's fine. I said, because I said I would. I said I would do it, and I'm doing it. And I'm glad that I am. It's been if anyone's still watching, it's been quite a hard week. 5 weeks for me. I've been kind of put back in a position where I've felt, it's not been the case, but I have felt under threat. And so I've been reacting in fight and flight mode. And it's gone right across the board, in work, at home, in my relationships, in my attitude to myself. So I'm just kind of having realised that, just coming out of that now. It's been hard. I feel a bit fragile, if I'm honest, which is not good, because I have to go and do these talks and be completely vulnerable. So I'm just kind of trying to find a new way through that's not based on starting with where I am. I want protection. I want to be safe. I want to be starting from where people are. Starting from what people need to hear and looking at how I can serve. And part of that service is taking care of myself. It's like it's a new way. You're probably sitting there going, obvious, this is a new way of being for me. This is not what I'm used to. So anyway, join me next week, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be reading the first chapter of Brene Brown, Daring to Lead. Tune in to this channel and we'll read the next one. If you want to get a copy and read it, it's on Amazon. It's $12.99, or you can hoodwink your friend into ordering one and then steal theirs. That's often what I do. See you next week.